All right. Hey guys, how are y'all? So this is our second get together of the Winter Percussion Academy get together. I don't know what to call it because it's not really rehearsals because we're not rehearsing for like a specific show. I guess we can call it practice. Yeah, we can call it that. Anyway, so here we go. This is what we're going to do. This video is going to be structured kind of like a play-along video, so you play along with me. I'm basically just going to act like I'm trying to get ready for a season. What would I do? And then you can just drum along with me, and hopefully you kind of see the pattern of how I approach things. And I'll talk about things that I look out for in my own drumming. And the chances are the issues I have, you have those same issues, just probably a lot more obvious. You know what I mean? We all struggle with the same things. It's just, you know, as you get better, though, you start to minimize and make those mistakes a lot smaller and harder to read. So it's going to be good. You clue in and try to pick me apart, and then when you start to pick yourself apart, you should be able to see, like, right off the bat, like, oh, yeah, he does this thing, a little bit of a mistake. Oh, I do the same mistake, but it's just a lot bigger. So hopefully that helps in that kind of approach, kind of think of it that way. All right, first thing to do, we're going to kind of go over I know we talked about a lot of like the legato strokes, just bouncing the stick. That's everything, man. That's everything we play is bouncing the stick off of the drum. You know, for keyboard players, you kind of create your own rebounds by picking them out up. For a drummer, I guess if you're playing on a drum, the approach is get your hand out of the way to let the stick bounce up. See, if my hand gets in the way, it'll stop it down. So if I pull my hand up, the stick will come up. Cool. So we're going to start out with the 8 on the hand, which is the basic exercise. It's what we did last time, the 8-8-16, 8-8-16, and stop, okay? This is in the packet. This is page 58, so if you want to get that out and play along. Remember that at any time, if you need to pause it and rewind and play along and get stuff, that's totally fine. This may be, you know, this will maybe only be an hour-long video, but each thing I play, you know, maybe you need to rewind that thing 20 times, and every 10-minute chunk for you need to play, you know, an hour's worth of reps on each 10-minute chunk. So you can turn an hour-long video into like a 12-hour, week-long practice video. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, here we go. I got page 58 pulled up. I got a metronome. You can't really see that. Anyway, it's an app that's called Metro Timer. You can kind of get it for free, and the first part of it is free. There's more options you can buy. But what's great about that timer is it has a tempo you can run, and it gives you minutes. All right, I have a thing where I say if you're not going to practice something for at least 2 minutes, then just don't bother. Do something else, okay? Because your body doesn't get a chance to ingrain things well enough if you just kind of like do 3 or 4 reps of something and think, oh, yeah, okay, I understand it. It's like, no, your brain might understand it, but your hands don't, okay? Muscle memory takes a long time, okay? And what I mean by muscle memory is like you're playing something so much that your conscious brain doesn't have to tell your hands what to do anymore. Literally, you just think of the idea of like, oh, legato 8s, and your hands know what to do, as opposed to me thinking, throw the stick down, pick the stick back up, throw the stick down, pick it up, you know, that kind of process. You don't have to think about it so much after you've done so many correct reps of it, okay? You know, when you're blazing through the, whoop, there we go. You know, after you're trying to do harder material, your brain doesn't have time to think like, oh, this, and this, and this. You know, your brain doesn't have time to go, let's say, right-handed accent, left-hand tap, right-handed low double, left-handed accent, right-handed tap, left-handed low double, flam, let's see, left-hand double, tap, flam, left-hand double, tap. You know, you don't have time to think all of that. What you have to do is go. Does that make sense? You start grouping things in chunks, and then your brain thinks about the chunk, and then your hands play the chunk, okay? That's the way you see all these drummers just absolutely doing a great job, killing it, playing really fast stuff all together. It's like their brains are not thinking about all of that. They're thinking about a big idea of like, oh, paradiddle, paradiddle, shot, boom, boom. they're not thinking each individual stroke. Their hands have done the stroke so many times that they're good to go. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Here we go. Page 158, 8 on the hand. I'm going to start at 110 and just play through it at nice 9 inches, okay, mezzo forte. 9 inches, if you're looking at your thing, like if this is 15 and this is 3 inches, 9 inches would be like right here, okay? So on the drum, that's going to feel about right here. Cool, here we go. 1, 2. 2, one more time, then we'll talk about it. Ready, go. Cool. All right, so one thing that I'm going to think about is my setup. Okay, one of those first notes, my right hand, I actually hit a shot. A shot is when you hit the drum head and the rim together. It makes a big loud noise. The reason it did that is because my hand was too low. Okay, so we should probably talk about that too. Our setup position. Okay, you want to have 1 finger space right here above the head, and then at the rim you want a 2 finger space here. Okay, that creates a natural downward angle. Okay, you want the elbow, the wrist, and the bead to be pretty much in a straight line. Okay, that's what I talk about a lot. Is think about, like, imagine, you know, if I had a cool animator, I could go bloop, a big blue circle here, big blue circle here, big blue circle here. You want those 3 blue circles to be in a line. Okay, the common mistake is when people set up, they set up with their hand too low. Okay, or they set up with their hand too high. Okay. And either way, what you want to do is you want to start with a neutral grip. That way your wrist has full wrist turn, okay? If you start out with your hand too low, then guess what? You've already turned to 6 inches in your setup. So the highest you can go is like 9 inches. That makes sense? You can only go from like here to here, okay? Instead, we start out with a neutral straight line. That way we can get full motion, okay? Here we go. Do it again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Play again. Cool. Next thing I'm going to work on right now on this same tempo is the stick height. I want to make sure I'm really getting 9 inches on both hands. I'm not higher in one of the hands or lower. Normally people tend to overplay the right hand, so it'll be a little high on the right hand and then like a little low in the left hand. Okay, that's usually what we see. So you got to really make sure that both sticks are equal. Let's try it again. 1, 2. So there's 4 main parts to drumming. Number 1 is the technique. Okay, you want to make sure you're playing with the right technique. You're starting here, right? You're not starting here. You're not starting here. You're starting here. All right. Our grip, we want to make sure we're playing. We have our fulcrum here and the fingers wrapped around. Every finger does the work. Okay, every finger does work. All right. You don't want to drum like this, right? You don't want to have. You want to have your grip here. You don't want to have it here because now my fingers aren't in a spot to do work. Or if they are in a spot to do work, now I've crimped my hand. I've taken my relaxed, normal hand, and I went and crunched it. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want a nice, normal hand. The stick right here on the outside of this pad, that's what I call it. And you want to play with every finger hitting or holding onto the stick. Okay. Now that we've addressed stick height, the next thing I'm going to think about is sound quality. Okay, remember sound quality is two things: the stick moving fast and a weight. Okay, think about it's like you want to take like a basketball and hit the snare drum or the whatever drum you're playing. You want a big heavy ball, boom. You know what I mean? It's not just moving the ball fast. What if I had a ping pong ball and I threw it down fast? It would move fast, but a ping pong ball is not heavy, so it still wouldn't vibrate the head very much. Okay, you want to take a big heavy basketball and throw it fast. Okay, remember the analogy of grabbing a dead fish and just boom, let that weight hit the drum. Okay, I'm sure my neighbors below me love that. We're in an apartment now, so here we go. Sound quality, right? Throw the stick down fast and let the, whoop, you gotta relax the hand and let the weight of the hand and the arm actually hit the drum. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. We're gonna do it again. 1, 2. Cool. Listen, you got to go back and rewind this if you're working on a certain section, okay? Now, one thing that I need to work on, one thing that I was conscious of as I was playing was, we're talking about sound quality, but you got to do sound quality in the right hand and left hand, okay? Usually, I'm pretty good about throwing the stick down fast with each hand. One thing that I've always struggled with, though, is my left hand on weight. So this hand, it's really easy to hit the drum heavy, let it smack. But the left hand, sometimes I tighten up muscles that I shouldn't, right? And I get a little tight. And what that does is that causes me to be, it might be fast, but it's not heavy. Hear the difference in that? If I'm squeezing and I cause tension, if I relax, right? So he goes from this. Yeah, you should be able to hear it just gets bigger, it gets more resonant sound, okay? You got to stay relaxed in every part of your body. And then your hands, just think about having lead hands, just big, heavy, metal hands, boom, okay? And keep everything else relaxed. As you tighten things up, what you'll actually do is keep some of the weight from going into the drum, and you'll have a poor sound quality because of the weight, even if you throw the stick fast, okay? Let's do it again. Let's have heavy, fast hands, even in both hands, especially even the left hand. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Cool. All right. So now that we're starting to get that corrected, then now let's focus on a couple more issues. You'll notice pretty much in every rep I've done today, you've heard the actual sticks hitting each other, okay? That's because you're supposed to keep your tips close together, okay? Because the drum actually sounds different. Hear how it changes? So you're going to play in the dead center, okay? And you want to have a good sound. The issue I run into is sometimes I put my beats too close together and they actually hit each other, okay? That's just me being old and out of practice, okay? So, anyway, don't be like me. Make sure your sticks are together, beads together playing, okay? Because if I have a right hand in the center and my left hand halfway to the edge, as opposed to, here the one is drastically different. Okay? Everything matters, okay? There's the main rule of marching band. Everything matters, okay? Got to get your sticks in the center, but don't hit your beads like I've been doing. What's something else? Oh, yeah, my rhythm's jacked up. If you'll listen close, the goal of 8 on the hand is to have perfect, evenly spaced rhythms, okay? Meaning every note has to be the same distance apart from each other. Bump, 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 bump. There's been a few times, especially in my left hand, where it's like bump, 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 and there's a little stutter, something like that. Listen, let's play it a few times, and let's listen to your own parts, your own playing, and check out and see if you're dead even on your rhythms, okay? Let's pay attention to that. Let's get a couple of reps on it. 1, 2. Nice even rhythms. Be consistent. Cool. All right. I felt like that was a little bit of me. Every now and then there's a couple of notes that weren't quite right, but that just comes with like playing this for an hour or two every day for a week or two, and then you'll get pretty consistent. All right, let me tell you the secret though. All right, if you want to be consistent with your rhythms, it all starts with 1, the technique, getting it right, make sure you're set up right. 2, it's got to do with you have to play the right height. Okay, if I'm sitting here playing 9 9 9, they go 9 9 9 10 9 9 9 8 9 9 9. Well, guess what? Those notes are gonna rhythmically they're gonna change. The volume will also change and the sound quality will change, but it'll also distort the rhythm. Okay, we talked about rhythm last for a reason, because if you get everything else in line and get it all working right, get the technique right, get the stick height right, get the sound quality right, the rhythm is the easiest one to fix. Okay, with my rhythms, I noticed the biggest thing, if I want to have a big consistent rhythm, is I actually have to maintain a consistent hand pressure, okay? That means as you're playing, you've got to stroke every stroke out from the hand the same way every time, okay? If I do this, and then I like change a finger or fidget or do something, anytime like that, all that's going to distort your rhythm, okay? If I'm playing here and then I squeeze a little tighter in the fulcrum, well, that's going to completely change the rhythm, okay? If you want to play 8 notes in a row or 16 notes in a row and they all sound identical, then you have to have the same hand pressure the entire time, okay? So let's play it again a couple of reps, and don't change your hand pressure, okay? Don't change hand pressure. 1, 2. Let's go ahead and speed it up. Let's speed it up a little bit. Here we go. 1, 2. Okay. So there's a faster tempo. For some of you older members, or older, more experienced drummers, you probably heard right off the bat, when my hands were transitioning from one hand to the next, my rhythm was all jacked up. Okay, because as we sped up tempo, now the prep is different. Okay, that means like as I'm playing here, it feels like there's less time to prep for the other hand. Okay, so you have to be ready. Take that hand pressure that you're playing with and hold it consistent in both hands as you're playing. Okay, even as I'm playing the right hands, my left hand is set, ready to go. Right, it's the proper hand pressure. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if we can get those hand transitions a little better. Okay, here we go. There's a saying we used to do back in the day where we would say "and one," and one. So it meaning like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And 1. And 1. Okay, So think of that as we go along. I'll say it out loud. 1, 2, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1. Ooh, my left hand on that last 16 was a little slow, right? As your ears will start to dial in, especially playing with the metronome, you'll get to where you hear these things pretty easily. You want to play right on top of the metronome, okay? When you start getting away from it, then that would be the equivalent of you playing dirty with the guy next to you, or girl, you know. All right, here we go. Let's do same thing. Let's go a little faster now. 130. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2. Cool. All right. So now the next thing we're going to work on, now that we've played all this time at 9 inches, and hopefully you've realized, a lot of you, I know a lot of you the other day when we were playing like 9 or 6 or playing lower heights, and some of you were still cranking out just huge notes, okay? Can't do that, okay? You can't play forte or fortissimo when everybody else is playing mezzo piano, right? So it's got to be the same height. It's got to be the same. All right, here we go. Let's lower it down to 6 inches, okay? In the scale, there's, I think it's page 1, maybe? Let me double check. Now, on page 2, I have a diagram that gives you the heights, okay? This will be 6 inches at mezzo piano is what we call it, okay? And 6 inches is not, it's about right here, okay? Right, here's 9 inches, here's 3 inches, so 6 is split the difference about right here, okay? On the drum, when we're set up, it feels about right here. It's not very big. For me, I always think big, happy taps. When I play 6 inches, I think of them as taps that are just real beefy and out of control. I'm being jokey about out of control. Always control your drumsticks. Here we go. 9, 2, 6 inches. 2, stay at 6 inches. Cool. Now, the first 2 times I did that, I thought about 6 inches. Okay, the next time I'm going to think about good sound quality. Okay, throw the stick fast, big heavy hands. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. 2. Cool. How many of you heard me on that, the left hand 16, the attack of it? I was a little late, right? Go back and rewind it, you'll hear it. And then obviously at the end, I let the rhythm get away from me on the last few, okay? You gotta be consistent, okay? Let's do that another few times, and let's not change our hand pressure, okay? Both hands, leave your hand pressure set the entire exercise. 1, 2, set the hands. 2, 1, 2. So now we're doing that now, let's take it on down to 3 inches, okay? We've got to learn to play 3 inches because 3 inches is the most played dynamic ever, especially for battery kids. For keyboards, that might be a little different, but for drummers, for playing on the membrane instruments, 3 inches is 85 or 90% of your notes. If you go look at a piece of sheet music, especially for your marching band, right? This is geared toward marching. You'll have like an accent here or there, and you'll have a bunch of taps. Okay, a lot of those taps might be rolls and things like that, but it makes up the majority of everything we do. You might have. Okay, in all that, how many? I probably played 60 notes, and like 8 of them were accents. Okay, so you got to get used to it. Okay, everything we do, we got to get used to playing 3 inches on things. Okay, here we go. So we're going to lower the height. Number 1, let's focus on technique. Make sure we're holding with our entire hand and holding our grip and holding our hand pressure. Don't change. 3 inches. Sorry, I should say this. Since on our set position, we're a finger space here and we're 2 fingers here at the rim, that creates a natural downward angle. 3 inches is just parallel. Okay, so pick your stick up to level, and that's where 3 inches is. Okay, so that's the way I think of it. It's just it gets up to where the stick. See how it's downward angled down, like my left hand here. It's downward, and there you go. There's 3 inches. Okay, camera angle might make it a little hard, but yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. Here we go. 3 inches and no higher. 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. Stick height. Focus on the stick height. Make sure it's not getting too high. Okay. Just comes to parallel. Cool. Now sound quality. Okay. Now we're gonna make the stick. Throw it down fast and nice and heavy. Okay. Nice and heavy. Relaxed. Fast sticks. Even at 3 inches. Okay. 1, 2. So if you get the technique right, and you get the stick height right, and you get the sound quality right, now let's do it and make sure that the rhythm is equal, okay? Nice, even rhythms, especially the transition. And 1, and 1, okay? 1, 2, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1. Even the last one, okay? Keep in mind, it's really easy to go and smack the last note, okay? Even on the last ones. And 1. Okay? Bum, bum. Always hit the transition, okay? Let's go a little faster. 140, okay? 1, 2. 1, 2, ready, go. Technique, hold the sticks. Hold your hand pressure. Cool. Now stick height. 1, 2, ready, go. Make sure you don't overplay. It's just 3 inches, nothing special. 2. Sound quality. Hit the drum. nice even rhythms. Cool. All right. So I hope you're starting to see the pattern a little bit. Basically, it's real simple. Technique, stick height, sound quality, and then rhythm. Okay? If you get those 4 things right, buddy, you're slamming good. Okay? That's the way you're going to approach everything you're doing. Okay? Regardless if we're doing this or we're doing blazing fast, hard rudiments, you know, at big stick heights or whatever we're doing. Just start on those 4 things, right? Maybe, you know, in the future I might have like, you know, if I was more put together with myself, I would have those wrote down on one of the sides or something, like technique, stick height, sound quality, rhythm. Okay. Here we go. So on 8 on a hand, that's one thing we're looking at, or it's just being consistent and getting that going. Okay. Up until now, we've been stroking everything out, and it's been pretty easy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bump it up to 50 BPM, and we're going to go ahead and take it back up to 6 inches. Okay, so in the diagram here, 6 inches about right here. Okay, so you got set position, and then 3 inches, and then 6 inches, then 9, then 12, and then with arm vertical. Okay, so we're going to look at the 6-inch variation. A lot of times, visually, I'll use this to mean 6 inches. So if you see me do this, that means that's stick height, because that's usually about right. Cowabunga, dude. 6 inches. Here we go. 150 BPM. We're gonna play 8 on a hand. 1, 2, 1, 2. Two, 1, 2. Whew. All right, listen. First things first, right? On this thing, we're starting to bounce the stick a little more, okay? Especially as we go faster and faster, you'll start to feel the stick actually having to bounce, okay? When we're really slow, of course, you can just go, boom, I'm stroking it out. All right, great. As we get faster, it's got to become, you got to start bouncing the stick, right? You got to actually bounce the stick a little bit, all right? You can't just 100% control it, all right? So 150, you start to get into that territory, at least at this height. So here's the first thing I'm thinking about, my technique. All right, for me, if I'm getting ready and I'm starting to bounce stuff, I'm thinking, all right, with my technique, I need to make sure that first I'm not being tight, okay? Tension is the enemy of speed, all right? If I just show up and go, and I squeeze everything, yeah, you're not going to play very well, okay? You're only going to play so fast, and the sound quality is going to be pinched off and all that, okay? Relax, okay? The second thing I do is hold every finger around the stick and let the stick bounce, okay? I don't squeeze, all right? If I squeeze the stick is not going to bounce. And to go fast, the stick has to bounce. So every finger, let's see, every finger wraps around the stick, but it still has the wiggle room. I think on page 1, if you read it, I talk about basically the hand being like firm jello, okay? So imagine just like really stiff jello, right? And you put the stick in there, but it still has a wiggle to it, okay? It's not, you didn't put it into a little block of concrete and white knuckle it and squeeze it, okay? Instead, you want to relax and have a little wiggle to it, okay? Every finger wrapped around the stick, but you want a little wiggle. Cool? Let's do it again. Firm jello in the hands, let the sticks bounce. 1, 2, 6 inches. Keep relaxed. Relax your shoulders. Relax your biceps and your triceps. Cool. The only thing that should be working is the wrist muscles, which is basically just like your forearm, okay? Everything from the elbow up, you need to be relaxed right now, okay? 1, 2. Cool. Another thing people do as far as being relaxed, we're talking about that. One of the errors people do is instead of being wrist turn only, to move the stick, they start to add a little arm, okay? That means instead of pivoting from the wrist, they start to pivot from the elbow a little bit, okay? The only problem is that forearm is, it sounds good. It's big, nice, and heavy. The downside is it's real slow, okay? You can only go so fast this way. You can go a lot faster this way, okay? So pivot from the wrist, if that makes sense, okay? We're wrist turn only. Don't start adding arm to it, okay? Left hand, people would do that too. People would, instead of just turning the wrist, they start doing a little bit of that, okay? That's drumming from like your bicep. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to, that'll be nice and that'll be real slow, okay? Relax, let the stick bounce from your wrist, okay? Turn your wrist. 1, 2, turn your wrist. Stop hitting your sticks like me. 2, ready, go. Cool. All right. Next thing, when you're going faster, we've already worked on technique. Now, work on the stick height. Make sure the stick height's right. 1, 2. What's the next thing, right? We've done technique, we've got stick height. What's the next one? Sound quality, okay? Hit the drums heavy and fast. 1, 2. Cool. Here we go. Last one, rhythm. Make sure your rhythms are nice and even, okay? Put it all together. 1, 2. Cool. Hey, we're starting to get the hang of it, all right? Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go 160, okay? We're going to keep it at 6 inches. Let's go through the 4 points of our, I guess the, 4 pieces of analysis? I don't know. Here we go. First one, we're going to think about technique, okay? On technique, we're going faster. That means relax, turn your wrist, let the sticks bounce. 1, 2. Same thing. Stay relaxed. Hold your hand pressures. Don't change hand pressure. Cool. Next thing I'm going to think about, stick height. Okay, you may notice the first couple of notes at the 160 tempo, I was up a little 7 or 8 inch and I pulled it down. You can rewind the video and go watch it. All right, here we go. Stick heights. 1, 2. 1, 2. Two, same thing. Get those stick heights right. Don't overplay. Make sure your lefts are just as high as your rights. Ooh, I got a little slow there. Probably hard to talk and play at the same time. Third thing, sound quality, okay? Throw the stick fast. Heavy, relaxed hand, okay? 1, 2. 1, 2. My ears are better than my hands. Okay, I hear, if you go back and watch that rep that we just did, you'll notice the first few notes that I did were a little slow. I actually had a bad attack. I was a little slow on it, and then I caught back up in the right hand. So it was like, cha, 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 cha. Go listen to it, all right? Now, speaking of which, number 4, rhythm. Let's fix it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, what I'm from a from what I everything I just did, what I'm having to fight right now, just to let you in, on what I'm thinking, my left hand sound quality toward the last couple of every hand is just like getting weaker. Okay, you can go back and watch it. Last couple of reps, just get to the last couple of lefts before I go to the right. I lighten up my sound quality. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. I'm going to fix that. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better there, but I'm having to think about it. And if you notice, the first 8 I did on my left hand, you'll hear that it got a little slow. I was thinking about the sound quality, right? Trying to get that sound quality right, and as a result about it, I got a little slow, okay? You'll notice that these things affect each other, okay? If you play too heavy sound quality, then your rhythms are likely to slow down, okay? Think about big, heavy, like boom, 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 okay? If I'm light on my sound quality, my rhythms would tend to rush, okay? Stick heights. If my stick heights are too high, I'm going to tend to drag. I'm going to tend to play too slow. If my stick height is too low, then I'm going to tend to rush. Okay, you'll notice these little tendencies, right? That's why we got to get them right. Okay, backing up. What technique? All right. If I'm playing with too much arm, well, guess what? I'm probably going to be a little slow. All right. If I'm just I don't know what would affect it. I tell you what, if I'm squeezing too much, adding tension, I would tend to play too slow there too. If on a double, we haven't talked about it yet, but on a double, if I squeeze, then it tends to make it really fast, okay? So you got to get all these variables right. So let's review it again. Sound quality, oh, nope, not sound quality. Whoop. First thing, technique. Make sure your technique is right. Second thing, stick heights. Third thing, sound quality. Fourth thing, the rhythm, okay? Here we go. Let's do it again. Let's go 170. Sorry, 170 BPM. We're gonna go a little faster. I'm not gonna break each rep down now. Here's what I want you to think. I'm gonna play 4 reps in a row, and I want you to think. First, the technique. Hold your hands, even hand pressure. Turn from your wrist. Let the sticks bounce. Then I want you to think about, how's my stick height? Is it 6 inches? Then I want you to think, okay, what about the sound quality? Am I hitting the drum hard? Is my left hand a little light now, or do I need to thicken it up a little bit? Or am I overplaying my right hand sound quality? And then lastly, the rhythm. Listen to the rhythm, see if it's right. 1, 2. Keep hitting the sticks together. It's driving me crazy. If you want to know why, it's actually because they're a little longer. These are old Casellas. Usually I play with Macintoshes, and they're like a little smidge shorter. Now, as far as why my left hand sound quality sounds so bad, that's just because I'm out of practice and I need to drum more. No excuses there. So, are you starting to see, like, going fast, see how this works? Okay. Let's go ahead and push this tempo up a little bit, all right? I've been making 10 BPM jumps, but that's just to try to get through a big range of drumming in each lesson. At home, you need to, like, definitely don't do anything bigger than a 5 BPM jump. Take, 5 minutes at each tempo, but jump up every 5 minutes, jump up 5, 5 clicks would be good, okay? Here we go. Let's go 180, and let's figure it out. 1, 2. what's happening there, my left hand, since I'm a little out of practice, and we got what you call pad hands, during my left hand, I have a little trouble sometimes being consistent with the bounce. As you go faster, you gotta kind of think about it's bouncing. Okay, and in my left hand, I'm having trouble right now. It's being real inconsistent, dropping in. Basically, my wrist, my small wrist twitch muscles aren't ready to go, and they're not consistent. So as I'm playing, it's like, oh, I'll drop one in every now and then. That's where that distorted rhythm comes from. Let's see if I can fix it. 1, 2. Whew. All right, let's just try it again. Left hand, second. 1, 2. Alright, let me give you a little bit of the little Jedi mind trick. When you go faster tempos, like right now at 180, okay, it's easy to think, bing, 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 bing. But in my head, when I get to faster tempos, I try to think, bing, 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 bing. So probably you just noticed I was like bobbing my head to like a halftime kind of feel. That tends to slow it down for me. Bing, 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 bing. So try that. As you get faster tempos, just try to take it to like a halftime in your head. I don't even know what I'm doing. That wasn't even the right exercise. Here we go. 8 on the hand. Keep the halftime. 1, 2, ready, go. So for some of you that are probably like ready to go faster, you probably got more chops than me right now. Let's go to 190. Let me tell you guys the secret about speed. All right. If you want to go faster, first of all, you got to break it down and go slow and get the muscle memory right. Okay. That's what you probably should have done. You know, hopefully in this video right here, hopefully you stopped it and rewound it and you've already played it like 6 hours with me. And you get to this point, now you're at like 190 BPM and you're ready to go. Here's the secret. If you want to go faster, here's how fast you can go, what you do is you try to practice just a little faster, okay? And it'll be terrible, okay? But then when you slow it down a little bit, you'll realize, hey, I can do that. All right, so then you go a little faster, and you're like, oh, that was terrible, right? Oh, I can't do that, okay? Yeah, but if you slow it down a little bit more, you'll go, oh, I can do that now. And you just kind of inch your way up. You creep up on yourself. Does that make sense? You go past the point that you can do comfortably, and then when you slow it down just a little bit, you go, hey, I can do it now, okay? So here's 190, right? So I was terrible at 180, so we're going to go 190 because the goal right now is to try to get faster, to get speed. 1, 2. With that going faster, now if I slow it down, let's see what happens. Let's go back down to 180. Let's see if I play it any better. 1, 2. Let's just do it again. 1, 2. Cool, yeah, I'm getting a little slow on the left hand, but I gotta go faster. All right, so we've already done 190, and we kind of did that, and that was okay. So here's what we do. We go 200 now, okay? If you go 200, remember, you go 200, go faster, then you go back to 190, you go, hey, I can do 190 now. 200 still sounds terrible, but hey, 190 be good. Let's try the 200. Let's sound terrible together. 1, 2. Ready, go. Yeah, so what happens there, as we start to go, I'm bouncing, especially my left hand. I'm bouncing, and I just start to cramp up, and it's not very good because I'm old. And so I have to start adding some extra muscle in. I start getting slower and it starts sounding terrible. That's what happens, okay? So here's where we're going to go. If I want 200 to sound better, then I'm going to go 210, okay? Let's do 210 for a couple times and then go back to 200 and see if it sounds better. 1, 2, ready, go. No, terrible. No, there it is. All right, so my left hand right now, 210. I won't do it, okay? This method does work, by the way. A few years ago, I was doing it, like getting ready for indoor. And I just took it up. I got up to like 250, you know what I mean? But I wasn't doing 10 BPM increments. I was like, I think I drummed for like 2 hours that day just on this exercise here. And I just bumped it up little by little, right? And just kept pushing it. And every one of them sounded terrible. But let's go back to 200 and see how it sounds. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's closer, okay? I'm still running out of juice in my left hand because I got to do some chops. When we say the word chops, what we actually mean is you need to play a lot more and build the muscles that you need, okay? For drumming, basically it's a lot of hand grip muscles and wrist, okay? And so all those muscles, I'm sure there's little bitty muscles in your hands, but you got to get those and mainly the forearms, okay? As you drum, you'll realize like different parts of your arm will start to get beefier, okay? And that's what you're trying to develop, okay? You're trying to get those forearms that kind of work everything. Does that make sense? So the way you get chops or the way you get more muscles is to actually like play and get those things burning, okay? Let's just do a little sidetrack real quick because that's fine. We need a break. A great way to do chops, especially right now for you guys that maybe aren't really good at rolls. If you haven't got there yet, that's fine. Here's what you do. Buzz rolls. The old buzz roll. Right? Just play triplets. Triplet. I think they call that triplet accent, technically. Okay, triplet accents. But do it buzzes. Okay? If you want to build chops, then do that, right? You kind of set it. You want to play at a faster speed and just go. Right, if you do that, set a timer. Let's set a timer. Let's see if we can even do it for a minute. That's way too fast. Come on, guy. Where are we at? Let's try 160 maybe. No, that's dumb. That's way too fast. Try 150. No, let's do 140. Here we go. 140 BPM. Let's see if we can just do a minute of it, all right? Play along with me. Buzz rolls, triplet accented buzz rolls at 140. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mix it up. Hey, there we go. It's the first time we've actually used our metro timer. So at the first of this lesson, I talked about how great it is to get a metronome with a timer. And then apparently we're 55 minutes into the video and have just now used the timer. All right. How about that for consistency? Hey, real quick on that, what we were just talking about with doing right now your forearm's probably a little, maybe you're feeling a little good. For people who drum a lot, you're up here probably like, yeah, I need 4 more minutes of that. And that's fine. If you got chops, good. One thing to go check out on that buzz thing that we were just talking about and building chops, there's an accent somewhere in this book. Oh, I bet I'm getting close now. Oh, I bet I'm getting close. Here it is, page 29. Page 29 is called 3 Camps. Okay. It uses rolls to do this. Okay. Rolls are just doubles put together, right? So you play a double here, double there, right? 3 Camps takes that thing, kind of like what we were just doing, but it uses rolls. You can play in buzzes if you're not good at rolls yet, okay? So that with using buzzes, the 3 Camps thing, you know, the first line, the first 2 lines with the repeat, that would be with the repeat. Cool. You can take that and practice that, and then you can, obviously it goes into I think 2 other variations. Okay, that's a really good exercise to try to buzz to. Try to make it through the whole thing with the first and second repeat of every section. It's a really good one to build up chops on. Okay, cool. Go enjoy that. Hope you like it. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a preview of a skill set that we're going to be working on the next lesson. And everything we've done today has been full strokes, except for that chop out exercise that we just did, which was 2 height. So it leads me to my next point. Now we're talking about downstrokes, okay? The next lesson will be covered on that. Basically, downstrokes are real easy. You start up and you end the stroke down. Got it? Up, down. See, so they named it downstrokes because the stick points down, all right? Here, it's real simple. All you got to do is take your wrist. Okay, you can see my wrist nice and good. You just leave your wrist down. If you do that, the stick will stop. Okay, here's where everybody gets goofed up on downstrokes. Okay, they'll take this grip, and instead of using their wrist and turning it up and then hitting the drum and leaving it down, what they do is they turn their wrist like this far, and then they let go of their fingers to get the stick picked up. Okay. The problem is now you've got this huge gap right here, okay? And so, and they have 2 things. There's 2 errors here. Now that they pick the stick up incorrectly, when they go to do a downstroke, they either turn their wrist down, and of course there's nothing stopping it, so the stick bounces back up. Looks like this. Let's get where I see it. So if you have your fingers off the stick and they do a downstroke, right? See how it bounces way up? That's what they do, and it like bounces up to like 9 inches. See that? Right? So, you've got to actually leave your hand closed. All right? Some people get that. They'll pick your stick up incorrectly, and then what they do is they take their hands and they squeeze. They go like, they do this, and they do that on the downstroke, okay? Problem is with that, you do point the stick down, but you also have to squeeze the stick. And the moment you squeeze the stick, now you stop the resonance. It doesn't resonate. Instead of being nice and relaxed, instead of a nice resonant sound, they get this boom, squeezed off sound. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is you want to maintain your jello hand, right? Your every finger around the stick, but not squeezing hand, okay? If you pick the stick up and every finger's around the stick, then when you throw the stick down, boom, the stick will stay down, like so. Boom. That's it. That's all a downstroke is holding the stick correctly, turning your wrist up, and then throwing the wrist down and leaving it down. And if you do that, the tap will stay down, right? You still see a little, it does bounce if you slow it down. It'll still hit the drum, and then it'll come up a little, and then it'll settle. But the stopping point is here, okay? If you pick it up and you don't have your fingers attached, leave it nice and open, it'll go boom, and the fingers it'll flex back up to like here. All right, that gets you in trouble when you have to do like a paradiddle, where you have to point the sticks down. Does that make sense? Point the stick down. Okay, so downstrokes. One simple exercise we do with this is just accent tap. what it's nicknamed called bucks. It's just accent tap, over and over again. Right? For all you young kids, when you pick the stick up, leave the fingers wrapped around the hand. That way when you pick it up and you throw it down, it stops, right? Do not do this, okay? That's going to lead to a bouncy stick, and you won't be able to play an accent and a tap. It'll be an accent and a almost as big accent. It'll look like this instead of trying to go, right? Same thing in the left hand, especially for you snare players, okay? Like, just leave all the fingers wrapped around the stick and point the stick down. That's it. So you can practice it. A lot of times when I'm practicing these one-handed exercises, a lot of times I'll do it double-handed, okay? Because it gets twice the amount of work done at the same time, okay? Right? So before I go, let's do this. Let's get a tempo. Not that fast. Maybe 120. Yeah, let's do 2 minutes of 120 of just holding the sticks with every finger, turning your wrist, and throwing the stick down, and then playing a tap. Right? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? Think about technique. Am I turning my wrist? Right? Don't use the arms. Just turn your wrist. Then I think about stick height. Like 12 and 3. 12, 3. 12, 3. 12, 3. 12, 3. Get the stick height right, okay? Then I'm going to think about the sound quality. Make sure every note is hitting the drum hard. It's easy to hit the 12-inch notes hard. It's hard to hit the 3-inch notes hard, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Every note hits the drum, okay? And then rhythm. Make sure you're not early or late on the tap, okay? The accent is usually in time. The taps are usually out of time. People go, right? Or they might be late. You don't want to do that, okay? Just nice and even, okay? Woo! Hitting these sticks, man. Gotta get that out of the way. Gotta get done with that. Hey! Cool. Well, guys, I hope you've had a good time drumming today. The video is not that long, but you're not supposed to just drum straight through the video, okay? You're supposed to take each section, you know. You're probably watching this from YouTube, so just like rewind it a few seconds and loop the different parts that we're working on. Cool? I hope y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see y'all again Tuesday. Thanks, guys.